Question 1. Triangle ABC has vertices -1, -1, 2, -4, and 7, 3 as shown. Part A, find the equation of altitude through C. So for part A, the first thing we have to do is determine the gradient of AB, because the altitude goes through this line, and we're going to use perpendicular bisectors. So for part A, the gradient of A to B, well, that's going to be -4 take away -1 all over 2 take away -1. So that gives me -4 take away -1, which is -3, over 2 take away -1, which is 3. So we get a gradient of -1. And as far as the SQA goes, that is 1 mark there. So then we move on to our next part, determine the gradient of the altitude. So the altitude, remember, is perpendicular. So the gradient of the perpendicular equals 1, since m1 times m2 equals -1. And then we go, we get a mark for working out the gradient of our altitude. The perpendicular is 1. And then the last thing, finding the equation. So we need to use the point. So the point C is 7, 3. So using our point C, which is 7, 3, and our gradient is equal to 1, then we can do y minus b, which is 3, equals 1x minus a, which is 7. And then we can solve that to get y equals x. You're going to have -7 plus 3, so you get -4 for your final mark of part A. Job done there. Part B, we need the midpoint of A and C. So looking at our numbers, we have got -1 and 7 divided by 2. And we've also got -1 and 3 divided by 2. Nice and easy to work out there. 6 divided by 2 is 3, and 2 divided by 2 is 1. And we're getting a mark there. So there's your next mark. And to get your second mark, we're going to have to find the gradient of the median. So using the gradient formula, we have got the midpoint, and we've got point B, which is 2 minus 4. So to get our gradient, let's just take a note that we're going to use 2 minus 4. Our gradient is going to be equal to y2 minus y1, so 1 minus -4 over x2, which is 3 minus 2. That's 5 over 1, which is just 5. So we get a point for working out our gradient of 5, and then final mark, y minus b equals mx minus a. Using any point you want, you can either use your midpoint or you can use C. I'll use the midpoint because it's all positive. Y minus 1 is equal to 5x minus 3. Rearranging that in the normal way, we get 5x minus 15, or y equals 5x minus 15 plus 1 is 14 minus 14 for our final mark. Part C, y equals x minus 4, y equals 5x minus 14. Solving these simultaneously, well, we know the y's are equal, so we can just make the right-hand side equal the right-hand side. So we get x minus 4 equals 5x minus 14. Taking away x from both sides, we get minus 4 is equal to 4x minus 14. Adding 14, we get 10 is equal to 4x, or x equals 10 over 4, which is 5 over 2. Or if you preferred, 2.5 as a decimal. So we're on a calculator paper here, so there's a mark. And then to get your second mark, get your y coordinate. So the y coordinate is substituting in. So we've got y equals x minus 4, remember. So we substitute 5 over 2 in. So that gives us 5 over 2 minus 4. But again, remember, we're on a calculator paper here, so you'd be as well just using decimals. 2.5 minus 4 equals minus 1.5. If you use fractions, that's fine, but you'd be writing minus 3/2 as a simplified fraction. So there's your second mark for getting the y part of the coordinate. The point is 2.5 minus 1.5.